Hi, and welcome to Drupal Brief. This is an AI-generated summary of another video, podcast, or blog post. If you want to learn more about what's being discussed here, then please go check out the source. This podcast is produced by the team at Drupal Forge. Drupal Forge is the new #1 open-source development and hosting platform. It has all the functionality of the expensive platforms, but at very affordable prices. If you're looking for a new hosting provider, contact us for a demo before you get locked in. Okay, that's it. Make sure to click subscribe, and here we go.
All right, let's dive straight in. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're unpacking the incredible, always changing world of Drupal. Our mission really is simple for you. We want to distill the latest developments, pinpoint those crucial insights, and arm you with some practical advice for navigating this whole ecosystem. Our main source for this is a great snapshot from TheWeeklyDrop, issue 689, that's dated July 3rd, 2025. And this newsletter, it's more than just news, really. It's like a direct pulse on what's happening right now in the Drupal community. Everything from the big strategic shifts down to the nitty-gritty code updates. We're going to pull out those key trends and insights for you and hopefully make even the really technical stuff feel, well, pretty accessible.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is just how vital it is, to stay current with a platform like Drupal that evolves so quickly. The weekly drop, it isn't just reporting news, it's actually reflecting the community's priorities, its challenges, its strategic direction. So for anyone really involved with Drupal or even just, interested in it, understanding this pulse isn't just important, it's frankly a competitive advantage.
When I was looking through the headlines from this issue, one just immediately jumped out at me. It's under Strategic Direction and Community Evolution, and it reads, Drupal AI Initiative, a coordinated leap forward. And it specifically introduces the Drupal AI Strategic Initiative. What does a coordinated leap forward actually mean for a project as huge and, well, established as Drupal?
That's a really good question. Because this AI initiative, it's not just buzzwords. It suggests real, concrete applications that could fundamentally change how we actually use Drupal. Think about things like automated content tagging or smarter, much more intuitive search, maybe even AI-assisted migration tools that could, streamline those really complex upgrades. It's really about pushing Drupal beyond being just a traditional CMS towards being a truly intelligent content platform, making sure it stays relevant and competitive in a world where AI is fast becoming, well, table stakes. For developers, for site builders, this means new chances to build more sophisticated, more adaptive digital experiences.
Nice. So the platform itself is making this big leap forward with AI.
Yeah.
But what about the community, the people who powered it all? How is it adapting? I saw the mention of the Drupal Association blog, DrupalCon North America 2026, evolving for the community.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where you see the platform's health really reflected. How major conferences like DrupalCon evolve is a vital indicator. These aren't just trade shows, right? They're where the community strategy gets hammered out, new connections are made, and the platform's future is really shaped together. When you see them emphasizing evolving for the community, it often signals things like maybe more focus tracks or perhaps mentorship for newcomers, which is absolutely crucial for the long-term health and growth of the contributor base. It shows they're responding both to the big tech trends outside and also the internal needs of their own people.
Okay, that makes sense. So that shift with AI and the community evolving, it naturally brings us to another really crucial area, core platform modernization. And yes, those always important deprecations. For a lot of people, I bet that lingering question about still thinking about your Drupal 7 plan probably hit close to home. That was mentioned by the sponsor Opticy, offering a free audit. I imagine quite a few listeners are still wrestling with those Drupal 7 sites.
Oh, absolutely. It's a bit like, that old reliable car you love, but you really need to replace soon, isn't it? The urgency to move off Drupal 7 is very real now, especially as it gets closer to its official end of life. A free audit, like the source mentions, is a really practical and honestly necessary first step for you to, as they put it, get a plan you can trust. It helps figure out the scope of the migration, potential roadblocks, and just lays out a clear path forward, which is essential, really, to dodge security risks later and actually start using all the cool new stuff in Drupal 9, 10, or even 11.
Okay, diving deeper into the technical side then. The source points to this move towards a new object-oriented approach for working with form render arrays, and also clarifies that widget elements can be written using object-oriented approach. For the developers listening, what's the actual tangible benefit here? What does this change mean for them day to day?
Well, this is a pretty significant modernization step. It directly impacts the developer workflow.
Right, the workflow.
Exactly. Moving to object-oriented for forms means, developers can finally build UI components in a much more consistent, reusable way. Imagine building, say, a complex custom field or some specialized form widget just once, and then being able to easily drop it into different forms across your site. Its rendering logic is now nicely encapsulated, it's testable. It means you're spending less time wrestling with procedural array stuff and more time building solid, maintainable components. It just makes development more efficient and the code stronger.
And of course, modernization often means saying goodbye to older ways of doing things. Deprecation. The source lists quite a few, and the names might sound a bit intimidating. Automatic creation of .htaccess files can be disabled. Calling render element-based .construct without element info manager interface is now deprecated. Drupal core utility error.current error handler is deprecated. JSON.api filter constants have been deprecated. Node-type widget description is deprecated. Status and info settings and block content blocks are deprecated. And also node title list is deprecated. Wow, that's a list. For someone building a Drupal site today, what's the key takeaway from seeing all these things marked for removal?
Yeah, that's a fair question. And it raises an important point for you, whether you're a developer or a project manager. What do these deprecations actually signify? Essentially, they're really crucial signals from the core team. They're warnings about changes coming in future versions, particularly as we look towards Drupal 11.2. It means certain ways of doing things are being phased out, usually in favor of newer, maybe more efficient, or more secure methods, like, for instance, the deprecation of node-type description. That points to a wider shift towards using the entity type manager, which is just a more robust, more standardized way to get entity info. So it's not just about what's going away, but understanding the better, more modern practices that are replacing them. It helps you ensure compatibility and smoother upgrades for your projects later on. It's really a clear nudge to adopt modern coding practices sooner rather than later.
Okay, shifting gears a bit now to some of the broader articles and insights mentioned, the Drupal Starshot blog seems pretty active. We saw Marketplace Shareout #7. The MVP proposal is here what we're testing and how to shape it, and also the one before it, Marketplace Shareout #6, preparing for the MVP proposal. This Starshot initiative sounds like a pretty big deal for Drupal's future.
Oh, it absolutely is. Starshot isn't just another roadmap. It's Drupal's really bold plan to deliver a truly out-of-the-box experience, much better than before. The goal really is to make Drupal feel as intuitive for new users as platforms like, say, WordPress, providing pre-configured features, workflows right from the moment you install it. This MVP proposal, that's the minimum viable product. It's the first tangible version of that vision, defining the core experience they're actually building right now. And crucially, like the source highlights with how to shape it, it really underscores the community's vital role in refining this whole vision, making sure it actually meets real-world needs.
Right, community input is key there.
Yep.
Now, on a more critical note, the source highlighted an article from joshix.in, Fortifying Your Drupal Site, Best Practices for Security with a Real-World Example. We all know security is vital, but what makes this particular piece stand out for you? Why should listeners maybe check this one out?
But what stands out isn't just that it talks about security best practices, which is always important, but that it grounds them in a real-world example. That makes security feel much more actionable. It shows you specific steps that go beyond just theory. And this ties in nicely with that other piece mentioned, XJM's article Anemone, the brief tale of a Drupal core security advisory. That really reinforces the kind of constant vigilance needed with open source platforms. It's just a good reminder that security isn't a one-time setup, it's an ongoing process. You have to stay on top of it.
Yeah, definitely an ongoing thing. And staying on that theme of sort of the wider web context, there's this really thought-provoking article titled, The Web's Broken Deal with AI Companies.
Yeah, this piece is pretty critical for understanding the whole evolving landscape of web content itself, actually. It connects directly to those bigger implications of AI for how content is produced, how it's consumed, even how it's attributed online. It brings up some really important questions about, intellectual property and fair use in this age of large language models and generative AI, which ties right back into discussions like the Navigating Drupal AI piece from previous Next that was mentioned. For your understanding of where the web is heading, this isn't just a tech discussion. It's about the fundamental balance between innovation, content ownership, and responsible data use. It's a big one.
Absolutely. And just as a quick nod to the community businesses, it's always cool to see how companies support developers. We saw that sponsored bit from Gear for Developers 4th of Dev, highlighting their Drupal and web dev shirts. A fun way to wear your dev pride on your sleeve, literally. Okay, let's shift now to some really practical, hands-on how-to advice from the tutorial section. First one up, Drupal 11.2 Hook Migration Guide. Modernize your modules' hooks with attributes. If you're building modules, this sounds like a must-read, right?
Oh, absolutely. Modernizing hooks is incredibly important. It's all about future-proofing your modules. As Drupal evolves, its internal APIs change too, and adopting these newer patterns, like attributes, ensures your code stays compatible. And not just compatible, but also more maintainable and likely performs better in newer versions. It's just building smart for the long haul.
Okay, good advice. Then there's a common performance headache tackled. How to efficiently load and process 10,000 nodes in Drupal without killing performance. I imagine this is a real pain point for quite a few people managing bigger sites.
It certainly is, yeah. For anyone running large-scale Drupal sites, performance is just paramount. It's everything sometimes. So practical tips like this are like gold. They offer concrete strategies to stop your server from, grinding to a halt and keep your site feeling snappy for users. And it's also interesting to see it paired with the advice from why more indexes in MySQL aren't always better. That gives you a slightly counterintuitive, but really crucial database optimization insight that many folks might overlook. More isn't always better there.
Right, good point. And thinking about visibility in this AI-first world, how do you make sure your content still gets found? How to future-proof your SEO with links in an AI-first world sounds like pretty vital advice these days.
AI is changing the SEO landscape so fast, everything from how content gets discovered to how it actually gets ranked. So this article really highlights why you need to adapt your strategies. It's a reminder that even while AI is influencing everything, those foundational practices, like strategic link building, they still really matter. But they matter within this bigger AI-influenced context where content quality and user experience are absolutely king.
Got it. And for all the developers listening, that piece from the drop times, using automated testing kit in your project part 2 just reinforces that crucial value of, testing your code properly. Now, just quickly on releases, this issue points to some important core updates, Drupal 10.5.1 and Drupal 11.2.2. But beyond core, we also see a whole bunch of module updates listed. Things like Editor 5 YouTube 1.0.4, Docker for Drupal 6.1.5, Smart Date 4.2.4, Symfony Mailer 1.6.2, and loads more. It really just shows how incredibly active and vibrant the whole ecosystem still is. Constant development happening.
Yeah, the pace is pretty relentless in a good way.
Definitely. Okay, finally, let's touch on community and career connections, because that's such a huge part of the Drupal world, isn't it? The podcast section, for example, listed some great resources for your continued learning. Modeler API with Jürgen Haas Beyond Blocks, Talkin' Drupal, #509, a WordPresser at DrupalCon, and also Talkin' Drupal, TD Cafe, #005, Mike Miles and Aubrey Sambor.
Yeah, these podcasts are really excellent ways to get deeper dives into specific topics, and you get diverse community perspectives, too. They're often a more conversational way to absorb complex stuff, and you get to hear directly from leaders and practitioners out there in the field. They often share insights you just won't find easily in the official documentation alone.
Good point. And for anyone thinking about their next career move, the jobs section really highlights that consistent demand for Drupal talent. There's the general listing, of course, at jobs.drupal.org, but then also specific examples from the featured jobs like a full-stack Drupal engineer at 4Rails Promos, a lead Drupal developer at Third and Grove, and a DevOps full-stack developer at Spry Digital. All US-based in this issue.
Exactly. And connecting the dots for you here, this constant demand for talent clearly shows that all this ongoing development, the modernization, the adoption of Drupal, it directly translates into strong, ongoing career opportunities. The platform isn't just evolving technically, it's a really vibrant, expanding space for professional growth across all sorts of roles.
Wow. Okay, what an incredible amount of ground we've covered in this deep dive.
Yeah.
From those big strategic AI moves and the core platform modernization down to really practical dev tips, critical security insights, and a clear look at the vibrant job market within the Drupal ecosystem. It really gives you a solid sense of the platform's pulse right now.
Indeed. It really does reiterate the power of focusing on those key insights you can pull from comprehensive sources like TheWeeklyDrop.
Yeah.
It's not just a list of news items, it's more like a living guide to understanding the heartbeat of this entire ecosystem. It helps you filter out the noise and really focus on what truly matters for your work and maybe your future in this space.
Absolutely. And so here's a final thought, something for you to maybe mull over, given this rapid pace of change we've talked about today, especially with things like AI integration and the continuous core updates. How will you keep evolving your own skills and strategies? How will you stay at the forefront of web development? What's the next deep dive you want to take in your own learning journey? Thanks so much for joining us on the deep dive. Keep that curiosity burning. stay engaged, and we'll be here to help you explore more next time.
Okay, we're done. To close off this podcast, I just wanted to remind you that this brief was a fully AI-generated summary, and we take no credit for the original content. If you want to learn more, then check out the source. This podcast is produced by the team at Drupal Forge. Drupal Forge is the new #1 open-source development and hosting platform. It has all the functionality of the expensive platforms, but at very affordable prices. If you're looking for a new hosting provider, contact us for a demo before you get locked in. And if you like this podcast, hit subscribe, post a link on social media, and recommend it to 2 friends. That's it. See you next time. Bye for now.